In the heart of Karachi, Pakistan's throbbing industrial soul, 11th September 2012 dawned like any other day. The sun rose over the crowded streets of Baldia town, where thousands of workers, men, women, and even some teenagers poured into factories chasing dreams of a better life. For many, it was just another shift at Ali Enterprises, a sprawling garment factory churning out jeans and shirts for export to far-off places like Germany. But beneath the hum of sewing machines lurked a shadow, one of greed, power, and deadly extortion. This is the story of how an ordinary day turned into Pakistan's deadliest industrial nightmare, and how it was no accident at all. Meet Ahmed, a 22-year-old stitcher like so many others at Ali Enterprises. He arrives at 7 a.m., badge in hand, joining over 1,200 workers crammed into the 4-story building. No contracts for most, just grueling 12-hour shifts for pennies, about 50 rupees an hour back then. The air is thick with denim dust and the clatter of machines. Windows barred with iron grills to prevent theft, and exit doors locked tight by management to stop workers from sneaking out. Safety? An afterthought. A recent inspection had given them a clean bill, but whispers among the workers told a different story. Overtime without pay, chemicals stored haphazardly, no fire drills. Upstairs in the owner's office, tension simmers unseen. Abdul Aziz Bhela and his brothers, Arshad and Shahid, run the show. Their factory supplies big names like Kick Textiles in Germany, producing thousands of garments daily. But lately, threats have escalated. In August, just weeks before, shadowy figures linked to the powerful Muttahida Qaumi movement, a political party dominating Karachi's underworld, demanded bhatha, extortion money, 200 million rupees, they said, or face consequences. The Bhelas refused, calling it greed. Little did the workers know, this defiance would seal their fate. As evening falls, a routine power cut hits. Generators rumble to life. But then, chaos erupts. Sparks fly, not from faulty wiring, as first claimed, but from deliberate sabotage. Flames lick up from the ground floor warehouse, where chemicals for shoe production ignite like a bomb. The fire spreads fast, devouring rolls of fabric and filling the air with toxic black smoke. Panic sweeps the factory. Workers like Ahmed bawl for the exits, only to find them chained shut. Break the windows, someone yells, but the iron bars trap them like prisoners. In the basement, hundreds suffocate as smoke pours in, no way out. Upstairs, people jump from 4th-floor windows, bones shattering on the concrete below. Eyewitnesses later described hell. Bodies piled at locked gates, workers trampling each other in desperation, screams echoing as flames roar higher. One worker yelled, "The door is locked. Push harder." Another worker replied while coughing, "I can't breathe. Help." Firefighters arrived late, over 90 minutes, bogged down by traffic and no nearby hydrants. By nightfall, the blaze is out. But the toll is unimaginable. 258 lives lost, some reports say up to 289. Mostly poor workers, charred beyond recognition. Over 600 injured, scarred for life. Families wail outside, clutching photos of loved ones. Ahmed survives, barely, by smashing a window and leaping to safety. But he loses friends, his health shattered by burns and smoke. The nation mourns. Parliament demands answers. Initial probes blame a short circuit, poor safety, factory owners arrested for negligence, facing murder charges. Compensation trickles in, 500,000 rupees from the government per family, plus aid from philanthropists. But whispers grow. Survivors like Saida Khatun's son, who perished in the basement, speaks of locked doors and no escapes. Forensic experts note the fire's unnatural spread. Then, the truth unravels. In 2013, arrests lead to confessions. Mohammad Rizwan Qureshi, an MQM operative, spills. The fire was arson, ordered by party higher-ups. Mastermind Hamad Siddiqui, head of MQM's organizing committee, orchestrated it from afar. Ground men like Rahman Bhola and Zubair Charia carried it out, torching the building after the extortion refusal. The demand? 200 to 250 million rupees funneled through frontmen, even involving former officials. A 2015 joint investigation team report to the Sindh High Court confirms MQM's hand in terrorism for profit. Eyewitnesses reveal guards blocked escapes, ensuring maximum horror. Investigator asked, "Why the fire? Tell us." Rahman Bhola replied, "They wouldn't pay the bhatha. Orders came from above, burn it all." Justice crawls. Siddiqui flees to the UAE, still absconding. Trials drag for years in Karachi's anti-terrorism court, hearing over 400 witnesses. Finally, in September 2020, 8 years later, the verdict: arson, a terrorist act. Bhola and Charia sentenced to death. Factory owners cleared of murder but fined for safety lapses. MQM denies involvement, but the stain lingers. Beyond Pakistan, ripples reach Europe. Victims sued Kick in Germany for supply chain negligence, settled in 2019 with $5.15 million in compensation. But for families, money can't heal. The fire exposed Karachi's underbelly: political extortion, ignored labor laws, a system where the poor pay the price. The Baldia fire wasn't fate. It was a calculated tragedy. Hidden hands pulling strings of power and greed. Today, as factories hum again, we remember. Behind every stitch, there's a story. And sometimes, a scream silenced too soon. What will it take for change?